Chapter 1. Tilly the Turtle lived in a cozy little tree stump at the edge of Whispering Willow Forest. Her home was filled with mossy pillows, glow-bug night lights, and one squeaky rocking chair that always creaked just right. It was the kind of place that smelled like clean laundry and warm cookies. One rainy afternoon, while the wind hummed outside and tiny raindrops tapped on the leaves, Tilly was fluffing her pillows when she noticed something strange in her laundry basket. "Huh?" she mumbled, blinking slowly. "That's not my towel." She waddled over, peeked in, and gasped. It was a blanket, but not just any blanket. This one was lumpy, gray, and looked like it hadn't had a hug in years. It smelled like marshmallow toast, maybe socks. She wasn't sure. Tilly picked it up and gave it a little shake. "Where did you come from?" she whispered. The blanket gave the tiniest wiggle. Tilly blinked again. Did you just wiggle?" Suddenly, ding-dong, there was a knock at the door. It was Grumble the Hedgehog holding a basket of pine nut muffins. "Hi, Tilly," he snuffled. "I made too many muffins again. Want some?" "Oh yes, thank you." Tilly smiled. Then she leaned in and gave Grumble a big, warm turtle hug. And that's when it happened. Fmump! The blanket on the floor let out a soft glow. A pale pink shimmer pulsed across the fabric, and it suddenly looked a little softer. Tilly gasped. "Did you see that?" Grumble squinted. "Did your blanket just blush?" Then a sleepy, yawny voice whispered from the blanket. "Kindness warms me up." Tilly's eyes got big. "Whoa." Grumble raised one fuzzy eyebrow. "I think your blanket talks." Then he sneezed so loud he tipped over his muffin basket. "Boof!" They both laughed and picked up the muffins together. As they munched on the warm treats, Tilly wrapped the blanket gently around her shell. It felt a tiny bit softer than before, still lumpy, still a little socky, but somehow cozier. Tilly looked out the window at the falling rain. "I wonder what happens if I keep being kind," she said quietly. The blanket gave another gentle shimmer and whispered again. "You'll see, you'll see." Chapter 2. That night, just as Tilly was tucking herself into bed, the blanket wriggled softly and whispered, "Time to travel." "To the clouds." Tilly yawned a big turtle yawn. "Travel? But I just brushed my teeth." The blanket floated up, tugging her gently like a balloon. She blinked once, then twice, and suddenly, whoosh! They were floating high above the trees, drifting into the sky like a marshmallow on a breeze. Below her, the forest twinkled. Above her, big poofy clouds bounced like pillows. The stars blinked sleepily, like they were winking goodnight. Tilly landed with a soft boing on a squishy, giggly cloud. "Welcome to the Cuddle Cloud Islands," said a funny little voice. Out popped a sheep with a fluffy mustache and a very serious face. "I am Sir Woolsey the Fourth," he said, "Knight of Naps, snoozer of the realm, but I've lost my ball." Tilly tilted her head. "Your what? My ball!" he wailed. "It glows, it jiggles, I can't sleep without it." He searched under a puffy tree. He poked inside a cotton candy bush. He even checked his own wool. "Still missing," he sniffed. Tilly gave a gentle smile. "Don't worry, I'll help you." She bounced from cloud to cloud, giggling as each one squeaked like a whoopee cushion. Boing! Poof! Squee! Suddenly, she spotted something glowing behind a cloud shaped like a banana. "Here it is," she called, holding up the glowing ball. Sir Woolsey gasped. "My precious sleepy orb." He tucked it under his chin, flopped onto the cloud, and let out the longest, slowest yawn ever. "Thank you!" Mump! Tilly's blanket glowed again, this time soft blue, and puffed up a little fluffier. She wrapped it around her shoulders and felt a warm breeze tickle her nose. The blanket whispered again, "Kindness is light, and light helps dreams grow." Tilly laid back and stared up at the sleepy stars. She took a deep breath in and let it out like a sigh. In with the clouds, out with the calm, in with a smile, out with a snore. Sir Woolsey mumbled in his sleep. "One Woolsey, two Woolsey. Wait, was I at three or?" Tilly giggled softly and her eyes slowly began to close. Chapter 3. The next morning, Tilly woke up with her head nestled into a pillow made of cloud. She stretched her little turtle arms, yawned a slow, happy yawn, and looked around. The blanket whispered softly, "Next stop, Snuggle Swamp." Tilly blinked. Snuggle what now? Before she could ask again, a gentle breeze scooped her up like a marshmallow and floated her down, down, down. With a quiet plop, she landed in a warm, muddy swamp, but not the yucky kind. This swamp smelled like cinnamon cocoa and bubble baths. Fireflies blinked sleepily in the air, and frogs snored on lily pads. As Tilly squished through the mud, she heard Grumpy mumbling, "I can't sleep, I won't sleep, I forgot my story, and now I'm cranky." Tilly peeked behind a big squishy fern. There sat Miss Drizzle, a frowny-faced toad wearing pink glasses and a fluffy robe. "Oh, hi," said Tilly kindly. "Are you okay?" "Nope," huffed Miss Drizzle. "I lost my bedtime storybook, and without it I can't fall asleep. My dreams will be storyless." Tilly thought for a moment. "Want to hear my favorite bedtime story?" Miss Drizzle sniffled. "Does it have dancing food in it?" "Yup, a sandwich that does the cha-cha," Tilly grinned. "Oh, okay then," said Miss Drizzle, flopping to a marshmallow-shaped rock. Tilly sat beside her and began. "Once upon a pillow, there was a pirate duck named Captain Quackers. He found a magical sandwich that could dance, but only if it had extra pickles." Miss Drizzle's eyes slowly started to droop. "And then the sandwich did the cha-cha on a banana boat," Tilly whispered. "Sen!" Miss Drizzle was out like a nightlight. Just then, the blanket glowed again, this time a soft, leafy green, and gently wrapped itself around Tilly like a hug. "Kindness is comfort," it whispered. Tilly sat back and felt the warm mud under her toes. She took a deep, slow breath in and let it out like a happy sigh after cocoa. Breathe in like you're smelling cookies. Breathe out like you're blowing dandelions. A snoring frog nearby croaked in tune with her breathing, and the fireflies blinked like bedtime twinkle lights. Tilly snuggled into the swampy squish and closed her eyes. "Pirate sandwich," she mumbled, giggling into her shell. Chapter 4. Tilly woke up to the smell of something sweet, like jelly beans and stardust. When she opened her eyes, she was lying in a garden, but not a regular garden. This one had glowing flowers and sparkling vines that grew all the way into the sky. Tiny stars dangled from the plants like twinkling grapes. "Whoa," she whispered. The blanket fluttered and whispered, "Welcome to the Starry Sprout Garden." Tilly sat up, just as two little fuzzy chipmunks tumbled past her in a giggling blur. "Zoom, zoom," said one. "Twirl, twirl," shouted the other. They skidded to a stop and stared at her with big round eyes. "Are you our new babysitter?" asked the first one. "I'm Pip," squeaked the second. "I'm Poppy," shouted the first. "Wait, I thought I was Poppy," said Pip. Tilly giggled. "I think you might both be Pip or both Poppy." The chipmunks blinked. "Doesn't matter," they shouted together. The twins zoomed around the glowing flowers like fuzzy little rockets. Tilly noticed the stars on the plants were flickering. Some were even going out. "Oh dear," she said. "Why are the stars getting dim?" Pip, or was it Poppy, said, "They go dark if we don't sleep." "But we're not tired," said the other. Tilly wrapped the magical blanket around her shoulders and sat down on the mossy path. "Want to try a sleepy game with me?" she asked. The chipmunk slowed to a bounce. "What kind of game?" Tilly smiled. "It's called Sway Like the Stars. We sit very still, we close our eyes, and we sway like we're floating in the sky." She showed them how to breathe in soft and slow, and then sigh it out like wind through the trees. The twins copied her. In, sway, in and twinkle, out, and shh. One by one, the starry sprouts blinked back to life. Pip snuggled up to Tilly's shell. Poppy curled up in the blanket's fold, and soon both were softly snoring. The blanket shimmered gold and warm like a sunrise. "Kindness grows light, and light grows dreams," it whispered. Tilly leaned back and looked at the glowing vines above her. She took a long breath in and let it out so slow she melted into the moss. Breathe in like you're watching a star sparkle. Breathe out like you're blowing a goodnight kiss to the moon. And just before her eyes closed, she heard Pip mumble in his sleep, "Zoom, twinkle, popcorn." Tilly smiled sleepily. "Popcorn sounds nice." Chapter 5. When Tilly opened her eyes, she was floating gently back down to her cozy little stump home. The stars twinkled above her like sleepy sprinkles. The clouds waved goodbye as she drifted past. "Thank you," Tilly whispered to the sky. She landed with a soft pluff in her favorite chair, right next to the glow bug nightlights. Everything smelled like fresh muffins and bedtime hugs. Tilly stretched and looked at the blanket. It was glowing in every color: pink from Grumble's hug, blue from Sir Woolsey's baal, green from Miss Drizzle's swamp story, and gold from the chipmunk's sleepy garden. The blanket smiled softly and whispered, "Kindness makes cozy dreams." Tilly giggled and snuggled into it. The blanket wrapped around her like a big, gentle hug. best blanket ever," she said with a yawn. She closed her eyes and breathed in deep. In through her nose, the smell of warm cocoa, out through her mouth like blowing a birthday candle. She let her arms rest heavy, let her toes go still, let her shell sink into the soft, mossy cushion. Outside, the rain tapped gently on the leaves. Inside, her heart felt full and calm. The blanket hummed a lullaby that sounded like sleepy wind chimes. Kindness is quiet, kindness is calm, kindness is bedtime, wrapped up and warm. As Tilly drifted off, she mumbled one last silly thing. "Please no more dancing sandwiches." Then she smiled and snored the tiniest turtle snore you've ever heard. Pee! And just like that, the whole forest whispered, "Good night, Tilly."